All right, let's get started here, guys. I'm gonna set up a struct group info called init groups, and its member is gonna be usage. Here we're gonna have a function called groups alloc. All right, I want you guys to keep up with me while I type all this stuff. Okay, please follow along, and we are just gonna take a deep breath, okay? Because none of that was real, and we are not gonna be going that fast. Let's go. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Edwin Finch, and welcome to the variables tutorial video. Alright guys, so we are going to actually import this project from a GitHub repository that I've set up for you guys. Name your project whatever you want. By the way, this is just the CloudPebble setup screen. We're going to click import over here. Alright guys, so here we actually are on CloudPebble, and we are going to click import because I already have the template set up for you guys to follow along with. So we're going to name the project variables. Well, you can name it whatever you want. And the GitHub project link is going to be in the description, so copy and paste that from here, okay, and put it into this GitHub project input. The branch we have to type before, okay? If you type master, you are most likely going to get the latest code for this repository, which will be the final code. You want the before code, okay? Once we click import, it's going to do the work for us, and beauty. We're going to click our source file. There we go, all set up. Don't have to worry about the code down below. We're going to deal with this soon. Here is what we are worrying about right now. What we aren't worrying about is the syntax or how these functions are set up. Okay, so what we are going to do in this tutorial is create an application that shows a letter on the screen based on how you change the integer variable. It will go up and down through the letters. You are going to click the buttons, it will change them. So to get started, that's right, we need an integer variable. So if you watched our overview video, we covered that variables had identifiers and they had types. So the variable type goes in front in the syntax of C, our language at least. So we're going to type int, which is short for integer. We're going to see the autocomplete is already kicking us in, yelling at us, saying that we have bad syntax. Ignore it and follow along with me, we'll be fine. We're going to name it our variable. This is our identifier. We're going to set it equal to 0, okay? Throw in a semicolon there. If you're not familiar already, semicolons must go at the end of each statement, in C at least. Now that we have this our variable set up, we want it to do something for us. So what do we want it to do? When we click the up button, we want it to go up, right? So we are going to increase this variable by 1. Now, how do you do that exactly? Well, an easy way to do that is to type our variable, so our name, our identifier of the variable, and then type in plus plus. Throw in your semicolon. That will increment the variable by 1. Simple as that, right? Now, what do we want to type when we have our variable and we want it to go down? You probably guessed it, minus minus. Semicolon. Boom. Now when we click down, our variable will decrease by 1. Now that's pretty great, right? But this is all internal. Only our code sees this variable, and we never get to enjoy this variable for our own eyes. So I already have some code set up for you guys here. We're going to copy and paste these 3 lines near the bottom, and we can just delete them or whatever. Bring them over here to our select click handler. This is the middle button. This code will run when you hit the middle button, of course. And we can see here that I already have it set up for you guys so that our variable is inserted into this sentence. If you have named your variable something else, change it here, or else you will get an error. Okay, so we are going to run this. We'll let CloudPebble do its thing. It seems to be very productive when it's booting the emulator. It does things like polishing monocles. It focuses the camera. It never lets us down. And, you know, it just, sometimes I've even seen it solve climate change. There you go. Speak of the devil. All right, so we've solved climate change, and now we are installing our app. You can breathe in that fresh air, knowing that you have an awesome Pebble app here. So our friend Pebble is saying press a button, so we're going to press up a couple times. We're going to click select. Boom, it shows us our variable on screen. We can click down, click select, it'll update it, right? How awesome is that? Okay. Not very awesome, I know. But it gets the idea across, right? So now, at the beginning of this tutorial, I said that we would implement the alphabet in some way. And that is correct. I have the alphabet array set up here. So we're going to copy that and just throw it down here below our variable. All right. So now that we have the alphabet, we can use our variable and put it inside of this alphabet array. Well, we can use it to declare an index in that array. So what does that all mean exactly? That might have been a bunch of jargon. Okay, so an array is a list or a set of things that can be accessed through an index, so a point in the array. So when you have a list of things in real life, you know, you normally have, just for example, you have the first thing, and then you go, you know, maybe this is your grocery list. You have apples, okay? You have the second thing, you put oranges. Well, actually, let's do the Kinder Music song, Apples and Bananas, throwback to when I was like 5. Okay, so now we have apples and bananas as our list, right? Well, in programming, this is basically how it works with arrays, except it starts at 0 instead of 1 and goes up from there. So our first index in the array is actually 0. The second one is 1, then it's 2, then 3, etc. It just increments. There is no such thing as a negative index. At least in C, there might be some weird language out there that lets you do that somehow, but I have never heard of it. Okay, so we have this array set up that has the alphabet in it. And we want to use our variable to pull a letter out of this alphabet array. What are we going to do? Well, we are going to click here, and we are going to change this %d to %s. Now, if you're curious, %d means integer, so wherever the %d is, you're going to put an integer here, and it will insert that integer. We're going to put %s instead, which means character pointer or string. And instead of our variable, since this is an integer, not a string, that's why it's giving us an error, we are going to put alphabet. But that is representing the whole array, right? And we want to represent one character or one string. So we are going to type our square brackets here. These square brackets allow us to insert a parameter, insert an index. Tasty water. Okay, so now guess what we're going to put here? We're going to put our variable. Once we put that, it stops screaming at us. And let's just change this to letter. We're going to click run. Okay, and our app is installed successfully. So here, now, when we press up a few times, hit select, guess what's going to happen? Boom! It puts a letter there. Man, if that is not a revolutionary app, I don't know what is. Go through the whole alphabet here. All right, pretty sweet stuff. Now, if you go way too low and you click the down button too many times, you are going to run into a couple glitches, right? Our letter is what? What is it? It can't tell us because we are putting a negative index into this array. And remember what I said here? We can't have a negative list item. Probably just like on your grocery list, you're not going to have a negative item. Though, if you want to be adventurous, I'd recommend trying to use if statements to solve this issue. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Hey, nice job making it through this one. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.